Hey guys, I wanted to talk to you about not to worry about what the enemy think or do, because they're one track mind, you know what I mean? They are they do what they do best, to be the way they are. You cannot make somebody change, even if you put a bullet in their head, you can't make somebody change. It has to be comes change come within, from within. A person have to be willing to want to change, not because they are persuaded or made do something they don't want to do. Okay, and that's what I want to talk to you about. Do not let them rule your life and breathe down your neck and telling you what you should be doing, what you should not be doing. If they really want to correct themselves, maybe they need to focus on themselves, because what I see is far from being perfect. When I look at them, it's far from being perfect. So instead of like pointing finger at people, telling people how they should be living their life, why don't you just try to be good? You stop hurting humanity, stop trying to poison us and put chemical in our food and air, water. Can you change? Can you try to clean up this planet, the air, the water, the medicines? Can you do that? So that's the question. If you could do that, then people maybe will change. You know what I'm saying? But you're not interested in changing yourself because you think you're God Almighty. You equate yourself to God. And that's your problem. Your problem is you put yourself in the same hierarchy as God. And you're not even a sliver of God. You know what I mean? It's not even, you cannot really equate to perfection, right? And can you stop destroying what God has already created? Can you stop doing that? You know what I'm saying? God creates, so you destroy. So let's talk about that. And before you're trying to make other people do things because you feel like ruling humanity, right? Because you feel like you are above God, right? You feel like you equate yourself to God. Some of you guys, because you think money is power, money does not equate to God, okay? Money maybe is power in your head, but you're gonna die, leave it behind. So it's not really, it doesn't equate to God, and it doesn't equate to God. So you cannot really look at yourself because you have money. You hidden the ways and stuff from humanity. You made it hard for humanity to make money because you want people to be slaves. You created money to enslave humanity. So we talked about poisoning us, trying to kill us, creating technology harmful for us. Can you change? Can you? Okay. Some people would acknowledge what their problem is. I know what my problem is. My problem is between my legs. That's my problem. You haven't killed anybody, okay? You haven't poisoned anybody. You haven't did any of this stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's my problem, okay? So my other problem also did not harm anybody else but myself. Yeah, I used to party. Who have I harmed when I party? Have I sent people in a grave through mass extermination, created war? Have I party and I woke up when I sobered up I found a trail of dead bodies? No. Okay? So do not really. My problem, I know, my problem is I can only control my problem. Nobody else can. Okay? And I did. So your problem, why is not normal what you are doing, what you are doing to humanity is not normal. It's not normal to be this hateful. Day and night working around the clock to hurt humanity. You know, that's not normal. It's not normal to wake up every day, think of ways to harm somebody else. Is that normal to you? No, it's not normal to me. Okay? I don't wake up every day, I'm gonna like, piss on people's head. I piss on people's head because when I go to sleep, they do stuff. So obviously, it's a reaction, cause and effect. When God says cause and effect, it was created, one of the laws, because it's a retaliation of me to speak out and say stuff and piss on people's head. It's intentional act. Yet I did not see a trail of dead bodies. If my word can kill people, my enemy would be dead long time ago, right? But my words have not harmed anybody, have not put somebody in the grave like you did. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna sit there and tally what you've done. Okay? If I can go sit there and list it, we don't have enough time in a day for me to sit there and list what you've done. Okay? And this some of the stuff I figured out on my own, and a lot of the stuff I'm pretty sure I'm not God. So some of the stuff I'm pretty sure is hidden that I have not really unraveled or figured out what it is. But a lot of stuff I figured out and I've shared with 144,000, that things that I'm 100% sure this is what happened and what they did, It's not like something I'm making it up to put myself in a pedestal, you know what I mean? No, I know what I say something, I'm 100% sure this is why it's done. I understand things. And they're telling me I suck in psychology. I know psychology, I created psychology, You wanna play me, They wanna play people. You can't play me. Your psychology is, soak it up and drink it. Psychology is BS. All your scientists who says theory, and I already debunked the theory of what is his name? The Freudian and all this BS, and also debunked the theory of evolution. And I already told you, people did not evolve. What you see now, up to date, what you see, people did not came from monkey, did not come from bacteria, did not evolve. God created us just the way you see in the street. You go on the street now, that's how humanity were hundreds, thousands of years ago. Okay, this is how God created us. Yes, people, adaptation is correct, but evolution is false. Okay, adaptation, when you, for example, you're light skin because you live in this climate. The climate is cold or whatever, you become light. So for example, a black person coming to North America, in time the skin to become to adapt to the environment, but you're still human. Yeah, you're just lighter skin, and stuff. So this is adaptation. Yes, you adapt to your environment. It's accurate, but evolution is BS. Okay, telling people that you used to be a monkey, and you just why there is still monkeys. Explain to me why there is still monkeys. Why these monkeys did not evolve? Just us. What make us special? You know? What make us monkeys special? If you say humanity evolved from monkeys, and some of the stupid things these people say, they say, oh, we evolved from bacteria. Ah, man, go to bed, Stupid as, what? Telling people you evolved from bacteria. Well, there's still bacteria, okay? Bacteria is still bacteria, okay? Mutation, bacteria could mutate, could change, but it's still bacteria, Oh, this is some birds. Beak have changed shape. That's adaptation. That's not evolution. It's still a freaking bird, okay? You freaking bird. Anyhow, that's what I want to talk about, Stop lying to people also. That's what other thing, at least my problem, it's been addressed. What's your problem? Can you address what's wrong with you? Clearly something wrong with you, okay? Anyhow, I want to also talk about the last episode of Foundation. And remember they had this drone, or they call her, it's like a machine, a robot or whatever, and she was basically keeping the history of Foundation. And when they're reborn, the Father Dusk and Father Dawn, and all of them, when they're reborn, they forget, because they're not gods. They are governing genetics. They are all about genetics. Because remember the lead, he said to this girl who hurt Father Dawn, because he really fell in love with her, and then she ended up taking him to this area where they were doing a coup. They were trying to kill him, and anyhow, he ended up saving him and stuff, and then he ended up attacking this girl. He told her, we're going back in history, we're going to erase your genetics from your entire bloodline. You're going to erase your entire bloodline from genetics. I love that kind of stuff. That's one of my favorite scenes, when he said, because you hurt him, because he fell in love, his only mistake he made is fell in love. And you deceitful little twat, you're trying to hurt somebody who show you love. Isn't it that story of my life? Isn't it this is exactly what 144,000, are going through? You know what I'm saying? You do nothing to these people and they will show you hate. Because I'm trying to awaken people, and stuff. And so we are the enemy because we are trying to awaken people to the truth. Anyhow, to get back to that. Anyhow, he ended up deleting her entire genetics from the gene pool. Isn't it that interesting? That's possible. If I were God, I would delete these people. I'd delete them out of the genetic pool. Problem solved. No wars, nothing. Have to, we don't have to go to wars, and we don't have to hate, or retaliate or do things to them. And so isn't it, I just like that. I love that scene, because he said, also I'm removing your ability to think of, and I'm keeping your ability to feel, because you're going to be aware. You're going to be aware what you're doing, and you're going to live this life of without death. He said to her, you're not going to die, but you're going to live this life the rest of your life. It's like, isn't it that a jail system? It's like a jail, making you feel the pain you have caused thousands of years. Yeah, that's amazing. Guys, you should watch Foundation. I love this TV show. It's like, some of the parts are not really well played, but some of it is really, really well done. And then the last episode, they had this little crystal that shows you the second foundation, shows you life, it shows you prediction, what things about to happen. Guess what are these crystals? Okay, it's symbolic. I'm gonna explain to you what it means, the last episode. When this drone or robot went, she found this crystal, and she, what she hid this crystal? Also in her stomach. Where do you think we have crystal all over our bodies, We have crystal in our stomach, we have crystal in the spinal cord, or spinal, we have crystals in your pineal gland, third eye, So anyhow, this robot ended up going in because she wanted to ask for help. Okay, she wanted to ask for help, and she went into the crystal, this one that, it shows you, basically about future, past, and stuff. So it's about gaining godly knowledge, your pineal gland, okay? So anyhow, she went into the crystal, and there was this black woman, and she have she's in the crystals. And when she's in the crystals, and she walks in and she called, and she says, Kali. When she walked in the crystal, she says, Kali. You say, who's Kali? Tiamat, Kali, the same person, the same goddess, And, Sophia, I think they're all the same, But anyhow, she says Kali, and Kali showed up. And she asked her questions about something, and Kali responded. So, and then the end of the episode, they showed Kali looking down at Earth. Guess where she's looking down at Earth from? She's looking at Earth. She's there with her angelic legion, and guess what? She's looking down at Earth from the moon. From the moon. She's looking down at Earth from the moon. She's like looking at this window, and one of the, angelic dragon or whatnot came up to her, and she asked him to do something or whatnot, and he came in, and she was